Now, we all know that Nunavut is one of the largest territories in Canada, which size-wise is actually bigger than the country of Mexico. It has the largest population of First Nations people, with more than half of the population being under 20, with only 2% of people being over 65. Nunavut is one of the youngest regions in Canada. But now that isn't the only thing making Nunavut special. Now we have 10 little known facts that you might have not known about the province Nunavut.
Number 1.
The capital city of Nunavut, also known as Iqaluit, is not connected by any road in Canada or America. While you can reach other communities by driving, this capital city, you would either need a boat or a plane just to get in. Now, once you're in the capital city, travel is actually pretty cheap, only costing people like $8 just to get around town. The capital of Nunavut is also known to have the lowest population out of any capital city in Canada. Also, another interesting thing about Nunavut is that all the houses have to be built on stilts at least 1 meter above the ground. This would prevent the heat of the house to melt through the permafrost and sink through the ground. Each home in Nunavut gets a water delivery of 250 liters, which is stored in giant containers.
Number 2.
Up next, as another fun fact, Nunavut is kind of like the other territories that we mentioned on how there's no real political party that runs Nunavut. The region is governed by elective representatives, as well as a council of 11 elders who incorporate knowledge of Inuit traditions into political decisions to ensure that the First Nations people in Nunavut retain their ways in the modern age of Canada. The system of government is similar to a city council that is run by a consensus vote. That way, everybody in the tribe and in the area has a word to say about how Nunavut is run.
Number 3.
Did you know that there's absolutely no paved boards or railways? In fact, there is not a single traffic light within the entire territory. The closest thing to roads are called ice roads, which are just dirt tracks packed with snow and ice. Shipping by boat is also difficult because rivers only have a few ice-free weeks during the summer for boat travel.
Number 4.
Did you know that in Nunavut, alcohol is completely illegal? In Nunavut, there are prohibition laws outlawing the sale or consumption of alcohol, with a lot of communities that are complete dry communities. Well, some rare communities have alcohol but have personal limits, while some communities do have alcohol but they have personal limits on how much you can have. Now, people in Nunavut say that it is easier to get a firearm than it is to get any alcohol.
Number 5.
Did you know, especially in dry communities, that people in Nunavut go absolutely crazy over trying to get soda pop? People in Nunavut even gift each other 6 packs of Coke, Pepsi, or whatever as a gift of hospitality. Now, that is also because when they get shipped, they're actually like pretty expensive to ship and even obtain, making it a rarity that they cherish anytime they get. With people even auctioning off single cans of soda on Facebook in Nunavut for $15 a pop.
Number 6.
Next up on our list, did you know that 3 out of 4 narwhals call Nunavut their home. It's actually pretty interesting. A lot of species of narwhals would go like anywhere in the ocean or in the world, but they chose to go to Nunavut, or they could just hang out with the Inuit people, or sometimes they could just be used as like for hunting purposes, like either for materials or for food for like a whole family. Now, a lot of the people in the area call the narwhal the unicorn of the sea because of the majestic tusk that extends out.
Number 7.
Now, we already mentioned how big Nunavut really is at the beginning of the video. Nunavut is like freaking huge, encompassing about 1/5 of Canada's total landmass. If Nunavut were its own country, it would rank 15 largest in the world. Another fun location thing, Nunavut has the northernmost Tim Hortons franchise, putting the end to your rumor that you're not Canadian if you don't got a Timmy's, eh? Which, I'm gonna be honest, in reality, like 2023 is not really much because Tim Hortons is like went all the way over the world in like Dubai and parts of the States, in Europe, and hell, even in Mexico.
Number 8.
Next up on the list, Nunavut is considered the most northern inhabited place ever. There's even a town in Nunavut called Alert, which the town was established to warn North America countries such as Canada and America if they were ever going to be invaded by another country, which I'm betting it's probably just a bunch of military bases up there, but still. But to be fair, if you were invading, why would you invade through all that cold though? I mean, unless you're Russia, then I don't know.
Number 9.
Second to last fact about Nunavut. Did you know that Nunavut has its own record label? The record label was called A Cool Look and was started in 2016 by an Inuit band called the Jerry Cans, with the purpose of supporting Inuit and indigenous artists. Now, despite the difficulty of breaking into the music scene like most of southern Canada, there have been success of some artists. One in particular called A Tribe Called Red that gives the record label hope of having successful indigenous artists in the industry.
Number 10.
Last but not least, we have interesting unknown translations about Nunavut communities. Now, every single Nunavut community said and spelt in a Inuit or native tongue, some of which, when translated, have pretty humorous meanings. One example is a place called Ugmigmaktok, if I pronounce that correctly, which translates to he or she caught a musk ox, or the community Nanisika, if I've also pronounced that correctly, which is also translated to the place where people find things, and Igulik, which means there's a house there. Imagine calling a community, it's like, oh yeah, there's a house. And there you have it. Those are 10 interesting facts that you may or may not know about Nunavut. So thanks for watching. If you want more awesome Canadian educational content like this, then make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that like, hit that notification bell, and if there's anything that you want us to talk about or anything that we've missed, make sure you comment in the comment section down below, and we will make any videos or any topics that you recommend. Now, this has been from LSC, and I will see you all in the next video.